Hello, and thank you for joining the International Jurist virtual event discussing how to choose an LLM program and LLM admissions advice. We have 7 participating law school sponsors here today to share information about their law school LLM programs and offer their expert advice to you on the many questions you likely have. Please feel free to send questions via the chat box at any time throughout each session. Our first session covers how to choose an LLM program. And joining this discussion are representatives from Loyola University Chicago School of Law, University of Minnesota Law School, the University of Dayton School of Law, and the University of Denver Stearns College of Law. To kick us off, they will each introduce themselves and their law school. We're bringing them here on stage. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
We'll first kick off with Insa. Insa will introduce herself and her law school, and then we'll move on to the next. Everybody is basically going to give like a 5-minute presentation, and then we'll get into the Q&A with everybody.
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Insa Blanke. I'm the Executive Director of Loyola Chicago's LLM program for international lawyers. I had the privilege of launching the program and designing it 13 years ago. Just a little bit about my background. I completed the German legal exams at the university and bar exam 30 years ago. And then I packed my 2 suitcases and moved to Chicago. And so I have varying experiences in the legal field. I completed a JD program, and this is the job where everything comes together beautifully for me, and it's an awesome job. So when I designed the program, I based it on my experience as an international student. And coming from a civil law country, I'm from Germany originally, and I'm actually here right now, and try to create a program that works best for international students who mostly come from a civil law country, or if they come from a common law country, it is a very different form of studying and teaching that you will experience in United States law schools. So the 4 key pillars of my LLM program we want to provide a very strong and proactive support structure for the students to make sure that you know the tools and strategies, how to not just survive law school, but to excel. We want you to do well. My program is small. We have about 25 students, give or take. So we do provide a lot of flexibility in the curriculum structure and in your course choice. We have a strong commitment to diversity. We rarely have more than 2, maybe 3 students per country in any given semester. And we had students from over 60 countries, which is great and provides for interesting discussions and exchanges. And my goal is to provide the international students with as much access to the JD academic and extracurricular programs because we want you to have an experience as close to the JDs as possible. And it works quite well. I mean, it's a small program, so I focus on individualized advising. All students are very different, have different goals, come from different backgrounds. So we try to make sure to give you the right fit that works for you and your career goals. Loyola is a student-focused center, so there is a lot of focus on student well-being and support. The LLM students are fully integrated in the community of Loyola, and that includes extracurricular activities and classes, etc., and also access to our Office of Academic Success. And that support begins early on during the application stage. So we are there to help you. And I mean, we all experience the same. You will have the same questions. How about the evaluation and so on? So reach out early and often. It helps you. It helps us to get to know you. So that's really a key factor. So the one-on-one advising includes academic interests that we outline and goes up to career services, which we have a special counselor for you to help you find a job. And a fun fact, perhaps, about Loyola is that we are maybe one of the only programs that has a 2-semester mandatory legal writing program for the students. And we find that this really gives you the tools to write well, almost like a JD. You're not native speakers, but as close as possible. And it helps you with your finals and also the bar exam. Thank you so much. And I'm handing over now.
Thank you, Insa. Margaret, do you want to go next?
Sure, I would be happy to. Let me see, I have some slides, so I'd like to share my screen. All right, I hope everybody is able to see the screen. I want to thank International Jurists for the opportunity to be here today. I also would like to thank everyone who is joining us from around the world. Depending on where you are, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to get to meet you. I'm Margaret Ioannidis, the Assistant Dean for the Online LLM program at University of Dayton School of Law. I work exclusively with our Online LLM program. Wanted to give a little bit of background about myself. I am a licensed attorney and member of the Florida Bar. I actually earned my law degree and my master's in the School of Foreign Service from Georgetown University Law Center back in 1996. Since then, I worked for the U.S. Department of Justice, as well as with law firms, primarily in the field of immigration law. I transitioned to legal education in 2010, first as a legal writing professor or legal research and writing professor. And since 2014, so I guess now for well over a decade, I have moved into working in an administrative role overseeing online LLM programs. I joined University of Dayton School of Law in 2018, built out the program, and we launched the online LLM program in 2019. I absolutely love what I do, and I'm grateful that every day I'm able to use technology to bring students from around the world together to have a truly global legal education experience. So here's a beautiful picture of our campus. The University of Dayton was founded in 1850, located in Dayton, Ohio. We are a Catholic Marianist institution, and we educate the whole person, mind, body, heart, and spirit. So as you consider this LLM program, we like you to know that we built the program, we teach the program, we interact with students with a lot of heart and a lot of support. The university is accredited, and our School of Law, of course, is accredited as well through the American Bar Association. A little bit about our online LLM program. You can learn a lot more by visiting our website and following our LinkedIn page. So I encourage you to do so at this time. Our online LLM program is an LLM in American and transnational law. The orientation for our online program is U.S. law and legal practice. Most students who are in the program are seeking a path to bar eligibility in the United States, so the program was designed with that in mind. We actually have had students go on to be admitted not only in California, Washington, and DC, but in some additional jurisdictions as well. As a little bit of background, bar eligibility in the US is determined on a jurisdiction by jurisdiction basis. We have a lot of information about that on our website as well. We have a series of articles and videos. Our curriculum consists of 12 courses. It's 30 credits, so that actually makes our program more LLM credits than a lot of other LLM programs that you may be considering. But we want to provide a foundation in US law and in the bar tested subjects. So there are 12 courses. The format is 100% online and asynchronous, and we run year round on a semester basis starting in January, May, and August. Because the program is online, we are able to provide a lot of flexibility to students, and the program can be completed within as little as 1 year or in up to 4 years. Because the program is fully online, there's not a student visa associated with the program. So you have that flexibility to take as little as 1 course a semester if you would like until you complete the program. We have just under 200 students in the program right now, and our students and graduates represent countries, at least 55 from around the world. So we have a nice graphic here. In addition to the students, we have 13 university partnerships with universities around the world. Again, more information about that is available on our website. So for any of you who are considering an LLM program, interested in establishing that path to bar eligibility in the US, or at least learning more about US law, encourage you to consider our program. This is the full curriculum. We have 2 courses in blue that are oriented to law practice, legal research, and legal writing. That's Introduction to US Law and Legal Institutions, as well as then legal analysis, reasoning, research, writing, and communication. The balance of the curriculum consists of the courses that are tested, or the subjects that are tested on the bar exam. And because we have many students who are interested in the field of immigration law, we actually do also have a 1-credit elective course in immigration law. So with that, I know we have limited time. I'd like to turn things back over to my colleagues for their insights as well. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Margaret. Annikus, do you want to go next? I hope I've said your name correctly. I meant to ask you before.
That's fine. And I thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here. So thank you to International Jurist, and thank you to all of you listening out there and my fellow panelists. I'm Annikus Wiersema. I'm at the University of Denver Stern College of Law, and I'm a faculty member there. I teach and work in international law, international environmental law, natural resources law, which will be relevant in a moment. And I also am Associate Dean of Graduate and International Legal Programs. So I oversee in that role all of our graduate programs that includes 4 LLM degrees. 3 of them are in-person degrees. We have an LLM in International Business Transactions. We have an LLM in Global Natural Resources, Energy and Environmental Law, and an LLM in American Legal Practice, which is a little broader, and I'll talk that again in a moment. And then we have a fully online, asynchronous online program, which is our tax LLM degree. So the first 3 LLM degrees are well, I would say International Business Transactions and our Global Natural Resources LLM are both for students, international students, but also for US students. And we have alumni around the world. We have in Denver a really long tradition of working in natural resources and environmental law with mining industry and energy industry here. I was in Chile recently reconnecting with some of our alumni. So that is a program that really is fully integrated, as all of them are, into the law school and into what we do, which is why I shared my own sort of academic background as well. And our program in International Business Transactions, also we have students from around the world who join that program, focused on private international law, but with access to sort of public international law pieces as well, and the intersection between those 2. And then the LLM in American Legal Practice is really designed for foreign students, and with a focus on an introduction to US law. All 3 of the LLM programs will given the right course choices, will give eligibility to sit for the Colorado bar exam. So the Colorado Supreme Court has a pathway for students who are trained at a foreign law school with law degree to take an LLM, and we've structured all 3 of those LLM degrees so that someone would be eligible to sit for the bar, provided they meet all the other criteria of the Colorado Supreme Court. And we actually provide we pay for a third-party bar review course for our LLM students who are seeking to sit for the bar who are not already licensed in the US. So we provide that with Themis, and I'm happy to answer questions about that in the session or over email. And then within those programs, and really those three that fit together are in-person programs, we really draw on the strengths of the University of Denver. We are, you can see from the background here, although this is not this is a photograph taken from our campus. We're very close to Denver. We're very close to the Denver legal community, and we have a very long tradition in our JD program and our graduate programs of experiential learning, both in the sense that we provide opportunities for externships. We have an extensive externships program, and our LLM is structured so that students on an F1 visa would be eligible to do an externship already in their second semester of study with us. And also experiential in the sense that our classes are really imbued with that real world hands-on approach, whether it's through simulations or really access to ongoing legal problems. LLM students are fully integrated into our law school. They work with our careers office or our externships office, our student affairs office, and they take classes with JD students, although we also have some classes that are designed specifically, obviously, for our LLM students, with introduction to American law, introduction to legal research and writing, and our library legal research classes that will really give you what you need to know about research. And we have on site a faculty member who has a background not only in academic success, but also in English as a second language. So she's available to help support our students. And I know I'm probably running short of time. Let me say a very quick word about the LLM in tax, which is obviously different because it's an online program. It primarily appeals to students in the US and sometimes students from Canada. We have been around for decades, and we really excel because we bring together accountants and lawyers in this program. So our classes in the program are taught to Masters of Taxation students and LLM students. And so the two students we find really benefit from that experience. And I think that's all I'll say for now. And here to answer questions. Delighted to be here.
Thank you. And then last we have Hannah.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Hopefully you can see my slide. My name is, hold on, I'm going to set my timer because I could talk about how great Minnesota law is for the full hour, and I promise you and my colleagues that I will not. So, hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Logan. I'm the Assistant Director of International Programs at the University of Minnesota Law School. We are located in beautiful, currently very snowy Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have been in this job for almost 10 years, which makes me feel very old some days, but my background is in international education. I have a background degree in communication studies and international journalism, and ended up here on a unique pathway, I guess, but not being a lawyer gives me a unique perspective. And my director and I provide a lot of support to our students more as you're in a very new place, you're doing a lot of new things. How can we support you with that? And then our colleague, who's the legal English professor also on our team, helps support our students in the classroom with the academic things. And we have a career center for our students with a former international student herself who earned her JD and then came back to help pay it forward, as it were. So talking about our LLM programs, we have 2 LLM degrees, general and business law. We also, of course, offer the JD, and then for students who might be interested in SJD, we can talk about that separately on a different occasion. The University of Minnesota is a Big Ten university, which means that we are big and we are old and we have a lot of really great athletics. As far as talent goes, that varies from year to year, of course, but it is a very stereotypical, I guess, experience if you are looking for that at a US college or university. Our LLM program has very generous scholarships. We have a lot of access to practical experiences for our students, which we will talk about later. We have a pre-LLM legal English program. Our LLM students are in the classrooms with JD students. We only have one class that is required for LLMs, and that is only for LLMs. Everything else, you get to take classes with JD students. If you do the general LLM, you can earn one of 12 concentration options. I can list those off later. And then I do want to really highlight how wonderful it is to live in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. You can see we're right in the middle of the country. There's a lot of nature in that center picture there. Our law school is just to the left. We are 2 light rail stops from downtown, where all the big firms are, where the centers of government are. It's a very affordable cost of living. Our metropolitan area is a little less than 3 million people. We have 4 very distinct seasons. It's snowing currently, and it gets quite hot in the summer. And we have a lot of professional sports teams, more and more added each year, it seems. Our women's professional hockey team is the national championship 2 years in a row, so that's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing another game this winter. But for now, I will leave it at that, and thank you all for having me. I'm very excited to be part of this panel.
Thank you, Hannah. And thank you all for the intros. So now we're going to get into some questions and their insight and advice for prospective LLM students. The first question is, selecting an LLM program can be challenging. And what is important to consider when choosing a program? And what are most students asking about? I'll kick this off with Insa. Do you want to start us off with answering this one?
Sure. Yes, of course. So I thought I would do the last question, but that's fine. I can talk about this one as well. So in selecting a program, I think in the United States, we have about 170 schools that offer an LLM program. It can be daunting to figure out which one to pick. So you want to define your criteria, and that you are doing the right thing already by reaching out, hearing from the experts, getting introductions about the varying facets and things that make an LLM program great. But since we just spoke about Minnesota, location is obviously a key. The United States, if you don't live here, you probably are aware, has very different features. The coastal cities, the Midwest, the South, the North. So that's something you can spend some time with and also find out about the information on the websites. You want to find out about the size of the LLM program, because there are LLM programs that have about 10 students, and there are some that have, not many, that have about 450 students. So that is a key factor perhaps for you. Each has their own benefits. So if you feel comfortable in a big school with hundreds of international students, then that is something that you should look at. Smaller programs have their advantages as well. And then, of course, they're mid-sized programs. So it does have an impact potentially on your access to the courses. If there are bigger programs, it may be that the law school has decided to have separate courses for the LLM students in key subjects. Such as bar exam subjects. For example, if you want to take a bar exam, most students do that in New York, you need to have 2 doctrinal classes. So that's something you should look at. There are schools that have an auction system so students can list their 3 favorite choices, and then they would be placed according on the interest in the classes or not. Some students have graded enrollments, so those students who are closer to graduation can enroll on day 1, others on day 2, and the newer students on day 3, so that determines your access to classes. Look at these specializations. For example, the larger the program is, the more specializations you're likely to find in a law school. Smaller programs generally will have more general programs. So like my program is small. We have an LLM in US law and one in international law, and all students have quite some freedom to choose their classes depending on what they want to do. Another aspect is the access to student services. And we heard some examples of what the law schools provide. Look at the size of the staff, look at the availability of services, whether you do have access to the support that's offered to the JD students, or whether there's a special section, for example, for English. And that's something that I would like everybody to be aware of. The better your English, the more you get out of your law school experience and your investment. So do sign up for additional opportunities that are granted to you from the law school, be it a writing center or legal English tutors or separate classes. The more you work on your English starting now, the better your experience. Career services is something that all United States law schools are very serious about. Many schools have a separate counselor just for the graduate students because you have different needs and need different support than the typical JD student. So they don't give you jobs, but they help you with alumni databases, so you can reach out to the alumni. They help you with your resume, with your personal statement. You even can do mock interviews in most career services office. So that's a great feature. And did I mention location? So look at where the law school is, look at what the city offers, or that you choose. How many law firms there are, is there a large international community, and so on and so on. What's the entertainment like? And yes, how is the weather? I think that kind of sums it up. That's the big picture of some features that you can look at, and so you can rank them and get the information and pick your favorite schools.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to jump in of just anything else students are asking about?
Yeah, if I could add, I think I get a lot of questions about scholarships and financial aid. Each school has a different policy and procedure on how they do that. Each degree has their own budget usually. And I think students sometimes forget that the amount you pay is not simply the tuition cost minus your scholarship. You will also be paying for where you live. You will be paying for what you eat. You will be paying for, like Inza said, entertainment. You have to have fun. If you're not happy, you will not be successful no matter what you do. You have to get out of the law school, get out of the library sometimes too. So I always encourage students to create a spreadsheet or something to think about all those other costs of living and costs of what you're going to do while you're in the United States, and think about that as well. All of us are in the Midwest generally. In the United States, on the coast, that's usually more expensive. The bigger the city, the more expensive it can be. And so really think about, ask any of us here, any admission representative from any law school, can you tell me more about the cost of living? What do you estimate one person, or if I'm bringing my family, what do you estimate that cost will be to live and eat and take public transportation and all of that for a year or two that you're in the United States?
Thank you. Margaret?
Thank you. I was hoping to jump in as well. I agree with my colleagues. Given that I work with exclusively an online program, I just wanted to share a little bit of the considerations, or a few of the considerations that students have as they consider an online program. But I think this could apply across the board. Be sure, as you're doing your research and you're thinking about the program, identify what your goals are in pursuing the LLM degree. And does the LLM program align with whatever those goals are? So a lot of times when we're talking to students, they're interested in establishing a path to bar eligibility or learning about US law and legal practice. And so we discuss with them the curriculum, the alignment with those goals. Student support and community is incredibly important, whether you're considering an on-campus or an online program. You really need to feel that you belong in that school and that it is the right fit for you. So the best way to learn that is participating in these sessions and meeting with us and with members of our team. And for our online students, it's really important to recognize and balance this degree, because many are working full time, being able to balance the studies with other professional and personal responsibilities. So those students who usually are successful in LLM programs, they go through to the end and we're celebrating together at graduation, are the ones that were very deliberate in that application process, evaluating what their goal was in pursuing the LLM degree and making sure that there was alignment between that and the program that they selected.
Angus?
Yeah, well, first of all, I agree with everything that my fellow panelists have said. And really, as Margaret said, you're thinking about your goals. I would just ask yourself, what's your why? And that's really what we're getting at here, right? What are you seeking to do here? For some people, they might be seeking a very general LLM as part of just their progression in legal practice in their home country. Some people may be looking to be licensed in the US, and then you would think about where you want to be licensed and which schools would feed into that. And for some people, they're looking for a very specialized area. I know that we have students who talk to us about, coming maybe from Chile, where mining is a really big sector, that they may have had peers from their law school who went to the coast, but who chose to come to Denver because of the focus on a particular subject. And every one of our schools here representative will have, something for you, depending on what your why is. And then I would just echo all of the other things, think about the format, think about the location, think about whether you'll be with family and what that might mean for location and format. Find out about scholarship funds. I think all of our schools have scholarship funding available. You can find out about that and what that cost will be. So really then I'm just echoing what everyone else said, so I'll be quiet.
Thank you. Margaret, I want to go back with the next question, what you're talking about with online LLM programs. So what are some specific things that you should consider if choosing an online LLM? What are those points that you should be thinking about?
Thanks, Michelle. I'm happy to weigh in. And these are great questions that are coming in through the chat. So I know I'm trying to reply to those as well. Yes. So as you're thinking about an online LLM program, and there has been an expansion of online offerings over the past few years. I personally am thrilled to see this because I see online education as providing maximum accessibility for students who are interested in pursuing a graduate law degree. And a lot of conversations that I have and members of my team have with students, we hear about, we always wanted to do an LLM degree. We didn't have the means to do that. We can't pay that extra expense of living in the US and having to choose between our current job and giving that up and pursuing a residential program. And so they find that an online program can be a great fit. So a couple of considerations. Number one, you'll want to think through what type of online format is the program, because there are variations. Following COVID, a lot of you, I'm sure, have had that experience because the whole world went to online education for a period of time. So is the program asynchronous? Is it synchronous? Is it a hybrid component? Is there any requirement for coming on campus? Our program is 100% asynchronous, and it was built and designed before COVID, and with the goal of making this intentionally a fully online LLM program. Another thing to consider is whether online study is the right fit for you and your personal learning style, because again, that is really important. You want to feel that you are part of a community and that you are in a program that best aligns with your study style. And so for some people, that might be an in-person program on campus with smaller classes. For others, they say, hey, we already have our first law degree. We are mid-career. We're working in our jobs. We want to be able to get this extra credential to take that next step professionally. So make sure it's the right fit for you. And the other is, make sure that the online LLM or any online program really is academically rigorous, supportive, interactive, and reputable. Our online program is fully run in-house at the University of Dayton. I work exclusively at full-time, former faculty member, dean level, work exclusively with our online LLM program. We also have a full-time senior online LLM coordinator. We have a team of support as well, including a dedicated director of LLM faculty development and a director of bar readiness for the LLM program, in addition to a dedicated academic support professor for our online LLM students, and a peer advisor who is a graduate from the program, a Brazilian attorney, now DC bar licensed and privacy attorney, and she serves as well and works with us as a peer advisor for students in the program. So just looking through if I had any additional notes here. The other is you want to make sure that that online program aligns with the if you're thinking of the bar exam, you want to make sure that it aligns with the bar requirements. Online education can get really tricky, right? So if you are planning to use the LLM online credits to qualify for the bar, you'll need to make sure, are these the right courses? Are they the right instructional minutes? Do they comply with the best practices and for instance, the ABA standards? So for anyone considering the California bar for admission, California bar admission requires a minimum of 20 credits, but the courses have to be graded using the standards the law school uses in grading coursework of students in its JD program. So you have to be on that JD curve. Our students are. For the DC bar, they require that the remote instruction meets the definition of distance education courses set out in the American Bar Association standards and rules of procedure for approval of law schools. So ours does that as well, including through student identity verification, student monitoring throughout the semester, opportunities for interaction with the professor and with students. These are very interactive courses. They are asynchronous, but they are rigorous, and you have that opportunity for live interaction with your professors and with your classmates. And our program has gone through the curriculum and approval process through the faculty. For those considering the Washington bar, again, there's specific subjects and instructional minutes. So it's important as you consider the online program that you take those considerations in mind. If you are interested in an online LLM program in a specific field of law, certainly it will defer to my colleagues on that. I believe Anna Kosti mentioned the LLM online and tax law, so you can certainly weigh in more there. And with that, I'll turn things back over to you, Michelle, and to my colleagues.
Thank you. Anybody else want to follow up on the online LLM? Anna Kosti or Inza?
Yeah, hi. So I just wanted to share a hybrid program version, which is combining on-campus education with online asynchronous teaching that Loyola has developed about 10 years ago. We moved our part-time program from evening teaching to weekend teaching. So we offer a weekend JD course. So the students get together on campus every other weekend. That's 7 times per semester. They come from all over the United States. This is geared towards people who work, have family, for whatever reason, don't have the time to enroll in a full JD program. So they come to Chicago. It's almost festive. They get food as well. So it's for the weekend. And then 1/3 of this course is taught online in an asynchronous fashion between the 2 weeks. So this meets the ABA requirement for on-campus teaching, because no more than 1/3 is taught asynchronously. So that is a fantastic way for people who have family and work and can't enroll in day classes to meet the bar exam requirements. So many of our LLM students use this format to finance their LLM while they study.
Thank you. Anna Kosti, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just
Sure.
a couple of things. Yeah, to echo Inza, we also moved our part-time program to the weekend format. I think we learned a lot from your experience at Loyola. So similarly, some LLM students who are working can take advantage of some of those core courses on the weekends with asynchronous. But I wanted to just say a word about how to think about choosing an online program, you're thinking about what you're looking for. If you're looking for sort of a part-time or flexible option, do you want asynchronous or do you want more of a synchronous model? We are also asynchronous in the tax program. We had an online program for a long time and we've switched it to being entirely asynchronous because we know that's what students are looking for now when they are seeking that flexibility. But then also look for, what kinds of community engagement you want. We find that many of our online students are still in the Denver or Colorado area because they want that opportunity to come to campus if we have events. So there might be online programming for some online programs. So it's partly, again, thinking about what you want and how you learn best and what you're looking for. I would really echo finally what Margaret said. Make sure that the school that you're looking for an online program from is one that is committed to high quality best practices online delivery and is not just trying to do this as a sort of easy way to expand their reach. You want to make sure they're putting that the faculty members are putting care and attention into the design of the course, that there are opportunities for engagement and feedback, and that it's not just a sort of passive learning setup. And I think that's all I want to say. I guess the final thing is, as with any program, looking for online, you're also thinking about whether you want a broad subject area. What is your goal, or are you looking for a specific subject area?
Thank you. Okay, actually, Anna-Kus, to go back to you with this next question, the best way to get information about the programs you're considering, what should you be looking for? We've kind of touched on a couple of things, but anything in particular about finding information about programs and any other particulars about what potential students should be looking for?
Yeah, thanks very much. I think, we've talked a lot about what are the kinds of things you're looking for. So how do you find all of that out? Obviously, you're going to start with websites. You're going to get information about whether the subject matter or the delivery is what you're looking
Oh, I think we lost her.
websites to see a little bit more, not only the
Okay, you're back. You were gone for a minute. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I don't know where we lost, but I'll just say, dig into the website. Because the graduate program gave you some good specific information about things like financial aid and the courses offered, but also the general website for the law school, because it will give you an idea about the culture, the environment, what that law school emphasizes. People have talked about the importance of student services and resources, and you'll get a sense of those things by looking at the website. That's obvious. We can all do website research, but it's worth spending a little time on, but also talk to the people who are listed there. Reach out the contacts at the law school and ask them if there are other people you want to talk to. Sometimes talking to faculty members who teach in a particular area can be really helpful. And to make those conversations as productive as possible, to think again about your why. You will have specific questions. Those are the questions you need to not just necessarily general questions. And then there's me again. Oh,
you're back.
Oh, okay. One more thing. The final thing I would do is try to find people who've done the program at the law schools you're interested in, and particularly if if you're in another country, if you can connect with alumni and ask the law school, they can probably connect you with people who have been there. You will find out what it was really like and why they chose to go there. And then talk to people who went to different schools and ask them why they chose those different schools. And you will start to get a picture of what you're looking for. And I'll leave it there. Thank you. And apologies for the technical issues.
No problem. We could still hear you. We just couldn't see you for like a couple minutes. Anybody else want to add on to that?
Yeah,
Hannah?
I would love to. I think what Anna-Koos just said and what I know Margaret had mentioned earlier, a lot of our departments have like a student ambassador type person, someone who is a current student, is a recent graduate, whose job it is to help translate their experience and share that with you, a prospective student, to see if that will be a good fit for you. Whether that's someone who's from your same home country, you know, you want to talk to a Chilean, or you want to talk to a Brazilian, or someone from Thailand, or someone who studied the same topic as you. Why did you study immigration law at the University of Minnesota? Why did you choose that over a different university that also has a great program? I think that's always my strongest piece of advice, is to talk to someone who has done it before. And exactly like Anna-Koos said, then you can compare and contrast and see, oh, I have the same values and the same reasons for going to do these things. That might be a good fit for me. Or, you know what, that sounds terrible, I do not want to do that. Then you can cross that off the list, and that is also helpful.
And Margaret?
Thank you. And I think Insa may have mentioned this earlier. Each student's path to the LLM is really unique. And so just to reinforce that, we schedule one-on-one meetings with prospective students. I meet with them. Monica Hayes, who is the graduate from our program, also meets with the students. And then, as Hannah mentioned, we do connect students as well with alumni or current students whose background aligns with theirs, because the goals are going to be different for each person we meet with. For us, as we look at the path to bar eligibility, that's going to be nuanced depending on what legal system they're coming from. So the website, we try to give a lot of information there. We try to have helpful resources, but there's nothing that substitutes for meeting one-on-one and really getting your questions answered, because at the end of the day, you're spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of, as we say, blood, sweat, and tears to earn that LLM degree. So you want to make sure that you've made that right investment.
Thank you. Insa?
Yeah, just a quick add-on. I agree with everything, particularly talking to graduates, even though everybody loves their school in the end. So, but do look at the recruiting fairs, Education USA, and we have students applicants from all over the world. Check whether Education USA hosts an LLM recruiting fair in your country or maybe in the neighboring country. I just attended 3 fairs in Germany. It's such a neat way to meet representatives from 10 to 20 law schools. And once you're there, talk to all of them. So that's my brief advice.
Margaret, did you have anything you wanted to add to this one?
Nope, I think I already weighed in on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So then the next question, Hannah, we'll have you kick this one off. So what should applicants ask about externships, clinics, and practical training opportunities? And what kinds of academic or writing support should international students look for once they're enrolled?
This is a really important question, and I know we only have about 10 minutes left, so I will try and be quick with my answer so that my colleagues can chime in too. I think one of my colleagues mentioned this earlier, but in the United States, there are 50 different jurisdictions, and those dictate a lot of different things, from the bar exam to law schools and how that works. So at many law schools, there are things like clinics and externships, but those might only be reserved for JD students. So the first question I think students should ask is, what opportunities are there? And are there restrictions or limitations on the different degree programs that can enroll in these or can participate in them? And if, for example, the LLM students are not able to participate in a clinic or an externship or something, people like us here on this webinar are creating opportunities that are as similar as possible in parallel to that. So you get those same experiences, perhaps without the title of clinic or clerkship or externship, something like that. So what exists and who has access to it, I think The Career Center is also a kind of, I guess that's not academic or writing necessarily, but whether you want to work on your resume, cover letter, or something like an elevator pitch, or participate in like the International Student Interview Program, there are a lot of opportunities that some schools participate in and some don't, and that sort of thing. Academically, we have a professor of legal English and what is her title? Assistant Professor of Legal English and Legal Skills, I think. But there is a specific person for any international student at the University of Minnesota to take advantage of as far as writing support, academic support, looking over an exam, reviewing a brief, that sort of thing. So this is someone who is specifically trained to work with non-native English speakers, and I'm sure many of my colleagues have something similar, whether that's a professor or a student writing instructor, something like that. But I think that is also a really important thing, that there should be a person that you can go to find those resources.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment? Insa?
Yeah, so one thing about US schools that makes them really stand apart is the focus on skills. And that can come through clinics, obviously, if you get lucky to get in. But there are also lots of skills classes. So typically you could say the first year of JD programs is focused on doctrinal classes like constitutional law, contracts, business organizations, etc. And the upper level classes are often taught by adjunct professors who are practitioners. So they know the cutting edge legal rules and issues in their specific fields. And that's where you learn how to apply the doctrines to specific fact situations. And that could be anything from ADR, negotiation, mediation, could be contract drafting, could be immigration labs, or anything. So that's one feature that really is exciting to international students, because I believe worldwide that is not a forte in most law schools. So that's something to look for.
Thank you. Aunt Margaret?
Thank you. I just wanted to jump in a little bit as well. Because an online program won't qualify students for an F1 visa and that related work authorization, the students in our online LLM program are not going to be participating in externships and things of that nature. However, because it is important to develop the practical skills, we have incorporated those into our courses, especially in the Introduction to U.S. Law course and our Legal Analysis, Reasoning, Research, Writing, and Communication course. So students will get experience in terms of drafting fee agreements, client letters, objective legal memorandum, persuasive legal memorandum, doing an oral argument, client interviewing and counseling, and alternative dispute resolution. So those skills are incorporated into the courses. We also try and connect students with professional development opportunities. We found what for most students considering an online LLM, it is because they're interested in either the bar and or the career advancement. And so we try to support students in that area. Primarily and especially in the field of immigration law and law and tech. So if anyone is considering immigration law as a field, we have an elective in that course. We also connect students to pro bono and volunteer opportunities in that field, and have even had students accompany professors to some of the conferences in immigration law. We also, last year, for instance, had a program in law and technology and a full fellowship program, as well as a webinar series aligned with that. Tying back to the academic support, that is really, really important, especially as you're pursuing a degree, most likely not in the same legal tradition as you earned your first law degree and not in your first language. So we have faculty who are experienced teaching international students. We have dedicated one-on-one academic support in our program. Also for free as part of the program, students have access to a lot of online resources, including Aspen Learning Library, Kali Exercises, Lexis Digital Library, Spaced Repetition, Law in a Flash, and West Academic Study Aids, in addition to Lexis and Westlaw.
Thank you. And Akus, anything you wanted to add to that question?
I'm just going to give a sort of final summary, which is really important to just find out what each school offers in terms of when would someone be eligible for an externship with the F1 visa under their program, the extent of the externships program generally. So this is an example of where understanding the full law school, not just the graduate programs, is helpful, because it'll give an indication of the kind of support that's there. And then to echo what my colleagues have said, find out what the individualized support is and what the opportunities are, and ask to speak to students who may have done an externship or looked for an externship, maybe current students as well as recent graduates, to find out what the experience was like for them, get a sense of whether it feels like it'll be accessible to you.
Thank you. So I just want to end with kind of asking everybody, what's kind of hard to narrow down, obviously, but one piece of advice you'd give to a prospective student who's just starting the process. And then during the break, just keep in mind, if you want to stay on during our break, there are questions that are coming into the chat. And several of you have answered some of those, but feel free to answer some more or follow up to other answers that have come in. But I'll start off with Hannah. What is one piece of advice that you would give?
Don't rush. This is a very big decision. This is a huge investment you are making of time and money, and it is worth it. It is a huge advantage to you as an attorney, as a lawyer, as a person. So start early. Give yourself a year or two to do all the research, ask all the questions, compile all the documents, triple check them, get someone to help you look over them, and give yourself time to submit everything before the deadline with plenty of time. And then once you receive all of your admission offers and scholarship awards, to really consider and do that math of what is the best financial decision, what is the most important thing for me. So start early.
Thank you, Hannah. Insa?
Yeah, I would recommend to definitely not just apply to one school, but to have a range of schools. You can have a couple of so-called safety schools where you feel pretty confident about being admitted, then middle school, and maybe a dream school or two. In these fairs that I just attended, students listed their schools they're interested in. They were exclusively from the top 10 schools, which is they're great schools. The question is whether you get in, and the question is whether you will have a sticker shock or not. And the ranking of schools, and everybody knows Harvard, of course, etc., is based on the JD programs. You need to do the research, the extra research, to find out what the schools offer for the LLM students.
Thank you. Annakus?
Yeah, I think start your research broadly. I agree. Start early. Do the research and start big. You may not know what excites you until you stumble across something and you start to read about it. And agree that apply for several places, because the other thing you don't know is what you will finally do until you see all the options in front of you. I guess my final thing would be, what's your why? Why are you doing it? That will drive the answer to where you should be doing it. Thank
you. And Margaret?
Thank you. I think I've said it before, and just to echo what my colleagues have shared, your attorneys, do your research and be strategic in your decision. And just an extra piece of advice as you think about the LLM and beyond what you will do with the LLM, don't underestimate yourselves. It is not an easy path to pursue a graduate law degree, many times not in your native language. You are learning about a new legal tradition. And just remember that you are bringing that unique background to the LLM program and to career opportunities beyond. So I want to thank everyone for participating today and for allowing me to be a part of this panel. And I wish all of you the best, regardless of which program you decide to pursue or whether you decide to pursue an LLM. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. And thank you guys for participating. We're going to take a short break and be back at 12:15 Eastern. Like I said, keep asking your questions in the chat and we'll get to them with answering them, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes.
Okay, hi everybody. Before we take the break, I just want to announce our Coffee on Us giveaway winners. Can I get a round of applause? I hear you all. Please forgive me if I say your names wrong. I'm really trying here. But our first 5 winners are Dave. Dave and me were talking about World Cup. So excited. Then Anthony Cedro. Then Carson, and then Joa Silva and Quinn. So you guys, I'll just drop my email in the chat and you guys can reach out to me after the webinar. But congratulations and thank you all for such amazing questions. I'm having so much fun. This has been such a great session and I'll see you all for session 2. Thanks guys. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. With practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. With practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. With practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. With practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. With practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US. For practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process flow just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US, full of practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US, full of practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US, full of practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier. Hey everyone! While we're taking a quick break, I just want to share something with you. We just released our brand new issue of the International Jurist, and it's made specifically for students just like you who are interested in studying law in the US, full of practical advice, school insights, and stories of students who've gone before you. If you're planning your next steps, this issue will help you on your journey. I hope you'll check it out and make this process feel just a little bit easier.
Hello and welcome back. This next session will cover LLM admissions advice, and joining us are representatives from Case Western Reserve University School of Law and University of Houston Law Center. I'm going to have them each introduce themselves and their law school, and then we'll get into some questions. Liz, do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Liz Wojcinski. I'm Director of Admissions and Student Services in the Office of Global Legal Studies at Case Western Reserve University School of Law here in Cleveland, Ohio. We manage both the International LLM and the International SJD programs. And yeah, I'm honored to be here and I look forward to talking with you more.
Thank you. And Karen?
Yes, hello. My name is Karen Jones. I'm the Executive Director of Global and Graduate Programs here at the University of Houston Law Center. Just a little bit about myself. I am originally from Chicago, but living in Houston, Texas. I have my law degree from SMU, Southern Methodist University Law School in Dallas. My background is in corporate. I spent a couple of decades working in corporate, doing compliance, contracts, negotiating, and also I spent a fair amount of time in working in Europe, in Belgium and the Netherlands, doing international legal research, and then in Belgium and the Netherlands, and then returning to the U.S. and teaching sports law, alternative dispute resolution in both Europe and the U.S. And I have been with the University of Houston for about 7 years. In this role, this founding role of Executive Director of Global and Graduate Programs. And I love working with international students, both in the US and from around the world. I do want to share a slide very quickly. Let me see if I can, hopefully this will work out for me. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can see my slides.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move to this one. And I know it's a very busy slide because we do a lot here at the University of Houston Law Center with regards to our international students. First of all, I know that, or I expect that many of you that are watching this have never been to Houston, Texas. And Houston, Texas is actually the 4th largest city in the US. Soon to be the 3rd largest, overtaking my hometown of Chicago. We are the most internationally diverse city in the US. Most people think that's New York. That is not true. It is actually Houston, Texas. We have a lower cost of living compared to other major cities in the US. And that's an important point, especially when you're considering an LLM program. You want to consider the total cost, not just tuition, but also the cost of living wherever you're going to be for a significant amount of time. We have world-class sports, restaurants, entertainment, 2 major international airports, hundreds of law firms, corporations, organizations, consulates right here in the greater Houston area. We're considered an energy capital. The aerospace hub, NASA, is in the larger Houston area. We have a world-class medical center and international trade, all within the city of Houston. And as far as the University of Houston itself, the university, it's a large university, 48,000 plus students across 2 campuses. And we have approximately 900 law students. That includes about 60 LLM students. We're a tier 1 law school, top ranked in programs in health law, international law, energy law, and intellectual property and information law. And about 90% of our foreign lawyers represent 18 to 21 nationalities and languages. As far as the concentrations that we offer in LLM programs, we have energy, environment, and natural resources law, health law, intellectual property and information law, international law and tax law, and a special program in US law that is specifically for our foreign trained lawyers. All of our programs require 24 credit hours. The program in US law, it requires there are 2 required courses, one in Introduction to American Law, the other one in legal writing, which is very important in law studies in the US. There's also a requirement of professional responsibility, which is a bar exam requirement. 6 additional credit hours in subjects tested on the bar, and then 9 credit hours that you get to select across any of our very extensive course listing. And this program helps to satisfy the requirements to sit for the Texas bar exam. I should also mention very quickly that we do have an online program, a synchronous distance education program that allows students to study remotely, and classes. Now, some of the classes might require an in-class exam, but many of them actually would not require that. And we have concentrations for the online programs in tax law and intellectual property and information law. And there's no distinction between the online degree and the in-person degree. It's all one degree program. And then finally, I will mention our Legal English Certificate program that is separate from our LLM program. Some of our LLM students decide to take that before they start the LLM program. It's offered in March and in June. It's a 4-week intensive, totally online program that provides the basics of U.S. law and legal analysis while you're learning the terminology associated with being a law student or a lawyer, either practicing in the U.S. or really anywhere around the world. If you want more information about the University of Houston Law Center, you can reach out. You can check out our website at law.uh.edu/LLM, or feel free to send an email to llmadmissions@uh.edu. And I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Karen. Liz, did you want to add any specific now about the program, or just as we go through with the questions?
Yes, I'd like to introduce our LLM programs.
Sure. Yep.
We established our program for international LLMs back in 1992, and we now have close to 2,000 alumni in 80 different countries around the world. We have 4 LLM degrees, international business law, intellectual property law, and international criminal law. And we have the general LLM degree in US and global legal studies, which is the best degree to prepare for a US bar exam. We also provide our students with discounted, very well discounted bar prep curriculum for students who want to take a bar exam, and that's very helpful. Yeah, we've been noted in publications, including International Jurist, among being on the honor roll of LLM programs for attracting the large number of international students that we have over the years and providing them with outstanding personal support, both in and outside the classroom. We also have an international SJD program. Some of our LLM graduates stay for that. A few of them stay for the JD degree, and they do get some transfer credit for that. As a law school, we're ranked tops in international law. We're ranked tops in health law and tops in IP law as well, and business law. And as a university, our private research university is ranked within the top 50 or 60 programs in the United States. As a university, we have thousands of international students here, and we provide a lot of support to our international students and the university community in addition to the law school.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, we're going to get into some questions now. So in the previous session, we talked about how to choose an LLM, and there was talk about the in-person versus online, those differences. And so here we want to get into more specific on LLM admissions advice. So the first question is, what should applicants do first when starting their LLM application, and what can they safely leave for later? Karen, do you want to start off?
Yes, sure. Okay. Well, I'm hearing that question in a couple of different ways. So let me start by saying that selecting a school in the U.S. It's a daunting task because we have a lot of really great schools in the U.S. So I would say that any application process should start with research. So that's first of all. You really need to have an understanding of the type of program that you're looking for. Now, as far as the specific application process, well, all schools in the U.S., or most of the law schools in the U.S., will utilize the LSAC in order to apply. It's a clearinghouse where you only have to submit your information one time, even though different schools will have different requirements, and you need to know the requirements for that particular school. So you would need to go to lsac.org and start building your CAS report, so that you can then select the schools that you want to apply to. And I say you should start that and start it early, because the process tends to take a while. You will have to complete the information, build your CAS report, have your transcripts submitted from your the universities that you received your degree. You cannot send them on your own. The university that you completed your degree at needs to send your transcripts. You'll have to provide letters of recommendations. I'm pretty sure that that all law schools require that. And you'll also have to submit a personal statement. And it's really important that you take time in preparing that personal statement. And I'm going to be upfront and frank with you on a point with regards to the personal statement. Really take your time in putting that together, especially being international students. That is something that we really look closely at to get a sense of who you are. And I know with artificial intelligence, with AI, I know that it's tempting to have a general one developed for you, but that is not going to help you in the admissions process. We really want to get a sense of how you write, because writing is critical to law practice in the U.S. and to law school. So really take the time in your application and give yourself enough time to really get through the entire process, so that you can really put your best foot forward.
Thank you. Liz, you have anything you want to follow up with that question?
Yes, I would like to add that a number of graduate programs at law schools in the United States do not use LSAC, and we're one of them. And we do have students apply online to our university directly. There are no fees associated with that application, and all documents are uploaded directly to our website. And that makes the application process very easy. We'll talk about rolling admissions in a minute, and we're one of those schools that works on rolling admissions. So yeah, just to back up a little bit, I would say read the instructions on each LLM program's website to see how they want you to apply for admission. But to answer your question specifically, I would say a strategy would be to start the application right away. Make sure that you get in all the correct information and all the boxes with correct punctuation and capitalization and things. And also, I would put in the names of your recommenders like early, because sometimes your recommenders need extra time to fill out a letter of recommendation. So then what can you say for later? Then you can log back in a couple days later, and things like uploading your scores and uploading your transcripts and uploading your personal statement. What Karen said about the importance of the personal statement is all very true. So you could take a little bit more time with that. But yeah, log in, put in all the contact information, etc., and get in the names of the recommenders and their contact information early, which will require you to reach out to the recommenders before you start the application. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
And so just following then in terms of the personal statement, Liz, so what would you say makes a compelling personal statement? We for the previous session, there were a couple of those questions that did come in, even though that wasn't kind of part of the topic, but what are some, what makes one compelling? And then also what should they avoid?
Right. Great question. I think it's important to make the personal statement be unique to you and not to talk about generalizations about the benefit of studying law or practicing law, but really your life story that motivated you to get, perhaps you already have an undergraduate degree in law. You know, what was your motivation? What made you enjoy that? What made you stick with it when things got tough? Why are you interested in a US LLM degree? And what do you hope? And things can change, but at the writing of the personal statement, what are your hopes and aspirations for what the LLM degree can do for you? And those kinds of themes, when written with details of your life, they might seem too unimportant to include them, but actually those kinds of details actually personalize your personal statement and definitely draw the reader in and make it more compelling. And I'll let Karen fill in other blanks, but I would just say something to avoid would be length, too long. Don't make it too long. So I think you should be able to do that in 2 pages pretty well. Unless you have an additional story to add, that would be okay. But yeah, don't make it too long.
Karen?
Well, yes, I'm glad that Liz mentioned the point about not making it too long, and it's really important that that you are succinct in your writing, because again, that is one of the skills that you will be assessed on as a law student. So showing that you have that ability when you provide us with your personal statement helps us to determine whether or not the study under an LLM program is something that you will be successful at. But with regards to specifically regarding the question, I absolutely agree with the points that Liz raised. So I certainly think motivation, being clear about your motivation for wanting to pursue an LLM degree, and why you feel you will be successful in the program. Also, and Liz mentioned this as well, how do you plan on using the LLM degree? And especially if you have some specific niche that has attracted you, that you maybe you have in your professional background, or maybe something you studied in undergrad, or your first law degree, that you want to pursue further, maybe like energy law or tax law or whatever it might be, but really exposing that so that we get a sense of, oh, this person really is interested, and not only that you're interested, but that we have a program that can support your interests. So making that very clear is very helpful if you provide that. And things to avoid, in addition to what Liz has already stated, is that, again, yes, you definitely don't want to be general. Your personal statement should be exactly that, personal. It should really help to expose who you are. And you definitely, and I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to say it again because it's very important, and that's what I do when I teach, is that I really reiterate the important points. And that is, stay away from creating your personal statement using AI. Now, It should be well spell checked, checked for grammar, so making sure that it's succinct and all of that. But the actual creation of it really should come from you, because we want to know who you are.
Thank you. And then, so the next question, in looking at letters of recommendations, how should applicants choose the right recommenders? Liz?
Yeah, we value the letters of recommendation that we get from your former professors. So probably we value those the most, and they can speak to who you were as a student in your undergraduate or whatever prior studies. Definitely you want to choose a professor who knows you well, and again, can include details that are personal to the things that you succeeded in and the things that might have challenged you. So that kind of knowledge helps us have more confidence in the letter of recommendation. So that said, sometimes some of our applicants have been out of school for a little while, and it's not easy to reach back to professors to write letters of recommendation. I do think that you can help yourself when you ask someone to write a letter of recommendation to give them context, a little bit of, this is the degree I'm going for, this is what I hope to accomplish with this degree, this is what I've been doing the last few years, and that will help the recommender write a more personal letter of recommendation. We value letters from employers too. So sometimes those are easier to get if you've been out of school for a little while. Those are my recommendations for the letters of recommendation.
Karen?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, letters of recommendation from professors, law school professors, probably at the top of the list. But as Liz said, many of our students, especially when they're looking at doing a Master of Laws or LLM program, they have often been out of school for a little while. And so yes, employer recommendations are great as long as it's someone who can assess your skills and abilities. So usually a supervisor, someone that you have had to produce work for is often better than someone that has not been in that position. Also consider professional organizations that you might be associated with. Maybe, especially if you've served as, an officer in an association, then maybe one of the other officers on that association might be willing to write a letter of recommendation that will provide that helpful insight into your abilities, capabilities, things like that. And when you're looking at professors, and this might go without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Getting a fifth grade teacher to write a letter of recommendation is not going to have the same impact as having a law professor write the letter of recommendation. So you really need to scrutinize exactly who is providing that letter of recommendation and whether they can assess and strongly assess your abilities to be successful in an LLM program at this point in your life. And then providing the reviewer with some context is a really important step. It will take someone some time to put together that letter of recommendation. So you want to make it as easy on them as possible. And so you want to be sure not to just ask for the letter of recommendation, let them know what you're asking them to recommend you for. Be very clear on that. And then also what I suggest is remind them of some of the things that you have done under their guidance, or projects that you worked on, things that jar their memory about how they have worked with you, how they've interacted with you. If it is a law school professor and there was a paper that you received an A on, then I would remind that professor that when you took their class, you received an A and this was the title of your paper. Really help to jog their memory so that they can write not just a general letter of recommendation, but really a solid letter of recommendation. Those are some of my key points.
Thanks, Karen. And then getting into rolling admissions. So how does rolling admissions really work, and what is the best timing to apply for the strongest chance at funding? Liz?
Yes, at Case Western Reserve University School of Law, we have rolling admissions for both our LLM and SJD programs. And I would say that in our case, every student who applies by the deadline has an equal shot at admissions and scholarship. So applying early is always a good idea. It's always a good idea to apply as soon as possible, but it doesn't, you don't feel like, you shouldn't feel like you have to just to have a better chance at a scholarship. So all I could do is speak for the way rolling admissions works at our law school. But yeah, students have an equal shot. So there are chances to apply after the deadline, and sometimes students get admitted with scholarship even after the deadline, but you do decrease your chances of being admitted and getting the scholarship if you apply after the deadline. So, and that means completing your application by the deadline. So that's what I'd recommend.
So one quick question that follows from the chat off of that. The question was, how early can I apply for an LLM in 2027?
On our system, you can apply in January of 2026 for January of 2027. So generally you can apply a year in advance. Yeah.
Okay.
But that
Karen?
concerns our program. Yeah.
Karen, add on the rolling admissions and just if any differences in the application for 2027.
Okay. So as far as rolling admissions, so we encourage students to apply as early as possible. And that's for a couple of reasons that I will talk about in just a moment. But first of all, applying, because there's so much involved in the application process, once we receive a completed application, then it is submitted to our graduate legal studies committee that has to then vote on that application or applicant. And if approved, then we also have to consider them for scholarships. And so all applicants are considered for scholarship money. And if they receive scholarship money, our international students, if they receive scholarship money, then they are also eligible for an in-state tuition rate waiver, which significantly decreases the amount of tuition cost. So, that is a very important aspect. And I can say, typically, if a student applies during the application cycle, then they are going to be considered for a scholarship. And so it doesn't really matter when they apply with regards to scholarship. Now, if they apply very late, like the early part of the summer, and we're starting classes in August, then yes, there's a chance that they will not get much, if any, scholarship money. But more importantly, it's important for them to apply early so that they can get through the application process and they can start the visa process. That is becoming more and more important for students to apply as early as possible. So, so as far as when they can actually apply, so our application is open. It typically opens in early fall, and it's open through, well, it's open through, for our international students, open through the beginning of May. But for 2027, what I would suggest is, if you know that you want to do an LLM program, just go ahead and apply, because with us, we can get you through the application process and we can defer you to 2027. But then at least you know you're already accepted, you're already in the program, so then you can start doing the planning that you need to do. Especially with everything going on, you know, with visas and timing and the interview process and all of that, we just strongly encourage all students that are interested in our program to just go ahead and apply as early as possible.
Is there a different typical range or limit of scholarships for online LLM programs? That's another question that's come in. Is there a difference?
In our case, we do not have an online program for LLMs.
Well, and with University of Houston Law Center, no, there is no difference.
Okay.
Yeah, we treat all of our students as students in our LLM program, period, whether they're taking the classes online or in person.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question: how do schools weigh professional experience compared with grades from a foreign law degree? Liz, you want to start off, or Karen?
Sure. We do respect and want to know more about our applicants' professional experience, especially when it comes to practicing law. So we'd like to know more about what your job was when you were working in law, perhaps after your LLB, perhaps after you were getting your lawyer's license in your home country. That is very valuable to us. And being the advisor for many years to hundreds of LLM students over the years, I definitely see the maturity that those students bring to their studies. Because, one of our professors likes to say, success in an LLM is like treating your degree like a job. So show up on time for classes and show up on time to participate in meetings or classes and that kind of thing. So professional experience is valued. Grades are also valued. That is an insight to how you perform in a scholarly setting. I would say in general, like, we place more emphasis on your transcript than we do on your professional experience. But I would say your professional experience can augment your application if your grades are not tip tops. So and definitely I think the best way to take advantage of the professional experience is to submit a resume if the application portal allows that, and also to really play that up in your personal statement. So that way we understand what your involvement has been in your professional activities. That's a way, as I say, to augment your application, especially if your grades are not tip tops. Thanks.
Karen?
Yes, I completely agree with what Liz has stated. So I will just do a little bit of reiteration. Yes, grades are important. It is the only real measure that we have, of your past performance in a scholarly program. So grades are important, but by the same token, your professional experience is also important. As Liz mentioned, often your professional experience can augment your performance, or if there was a little, not quite where you might want your grades to have been, then your professional experience showing that you've developed skills that your grades might suggest are lacking, that's going to be very important for you. And yes, absolutely, utilize your personal statement to show how, maybe in school you slacked off a bit because of whatever the reason was, whether it was some personal challenges, or because you were just partying at the time, whatever the issue was. Personally, I would be upfront about it in the personal statement, but then show how you have grown since then, and the things that have happened in your life that have allowed you to develop the skills that you might have lacked previously. So that's really important. And then I'll just share one a quick example. One of our recent law school graduates, he's a 2024 graduate. He was a barista at Starbucks. That was his past experience, but he was so proud of his work, and it was wonderful. He ended up being an incredible student. I think he's from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, but incredible student, passed the bar first time, so just incredible. So it doesn't matter, even if your past experience is not in law, if you can use it and show how you gain communication skills, or whatever the skill is, if you can show that you've gained those skills through that work experience, then please share it, because it can have an impact.
Thank you. One of the last questions here, what are some of the most frequent errors you see from foreign trained attorneys within regards to the application process, and how can they avoid them? Liz?
I would say it would be applying late would not be a good thing to do, especially as Karen emphasizes, because the university needs time to print the I-20 and you need time to get the visa. So that's not a good way to proceed. Definitely you want to correct your spelling errors and grammar errors, and definitely, as Karen says, not to use AI to write your personal statement, but definitely do whatever you need to get your language clean and free of spelling and grammar errors. Sometimes it's easy to cut and paste applications from one school to the next. Certainly some of the themes that you will have in your personal statement will be ones that you will use in multiple applications, but you want to read it over every time and make sure there's not a reference to another school in your personal statement. So back to personal statements a little bit. Of course, we do want to know why you're interested in an LLM degree in the United States. If you can, and you know us well enough, to cite a sincere connection to the programs that we offer and why you're interested in them. That's great. But you just want to make sure that if you're doing that, make sure it's specific to Case Western Reserve University when you do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Karen?
Yes, well, definitely spelling and grammar errors. In this day and age, there should be minimal, if any, and really there should not be any spelling errors or grammar errors in your personal statement. Also, and I don't know that we've mentioned this on this call, so I will be sure to mention that you should also, with your personal statement, first of all, you should have read it over at least a dozen times yourself. But I would also ask someone close to you to read it as well. Or maybe a couple of people, just to see how it hits them. And also so that they might catch some things that you might not catch. So it's just very important to take care with that, because the personal statement really is important. And especially if you feel that your performance in your previous program is not as strong as it should be or could be, then your personal statement really, really can help. The other thing I want to mention is, as far as the application process, yes, early, thank you, Liz, for reiterating that again. But also, it's really important that you take care in how you deal with every person in this entire process. And what I mean by that is, you might feel, oh, well, I'm just applying, or, oh, I'm just calling to ask a question, or, oh, I'm just submitting this, but, oh, I'll just do it late, it's okay. Everything that you do on the road to starting your LLM program is going to impact, or has the potential of impacting, whether or not you're accepted into a program and how well you do in that program. So you might encounter individuals, like within my office at University of Houston Law Center, within the Global and Graduate Programs team. Maybe you submit a question via email. Well, you want to make sure that your question is well stated, that it's succinct, that it's to the point, that it's well written, because the people that are receiving those questions by telephone, by email, that you're interacting with in person, whether they're professors or administrative staff, they're involved in this process and can have a direct impact on whether or not you're accepted to that program. You might not be aware of that, but I am letting you know. This has definitely come up in the past, where we've had some interactions with individuals, and we had to step back and say, is this someone we want in our program? And is this someone that we feel will be successful? And the last point I'll make on this, and again, when I teach, I tell people, if I'm talking over and over about something, it's because it's important. But the other point is that if you are, if you're not sure about something or how to handle a particular, you're given directions on something, then it's really important that you handle all of that professionally, because law school in the US is not a typical graduate school. It is a professional school. And so we're assessing applicants on whether or not they can be successful in a professional school environment, because the role of law school is to prepare professionals. And so that is always the lens that we're viewing you through.
I just want to add one thing, that Yeah, it's really important once you start the application process to be constantly checking your email if that's the portal that you're communicating with. So don't make the mistake of only checking in every 2 or 3 weeks. Definitely, we feel compelled to help the people who stay in contact with us. So I would say definitely watch your email. That may not be, you might be texting more than email, but maybe when you're doing these applications, definitely check in. And at some point, we're going to be only communicating to you through the Case Western Reserve email address. And we'll let you know when that is after you've enrolled, but it's really important to be watching that. Every day isn't too often, so.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Liz. That is equally important at University of Houston Law Center. Yes, thanks for mentioning that.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, Liz and Karen, and we hope everybody's received some valuable insight and advice from all the law schools that have participated in the 2 sessions. Please be sure to check out the just released issue of the International Jurist magazine. We actually had a fall issue this year. We usually just have a spring issue, which we will have a spring issue coming up around April. But in this issue out, you can find more info about the LLM and advice on securing a student visa to start your U.S. LLM journey. So thank you again to our law school sponsors, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
And before we close the session completely, we do want to announce our TOEFL prep course winners. So thank you all again for joining, participating. We loved your questions, getting to know you. And our winners are, drum roll, Baby Newman, Fernanda, and Alexandra. So don't forget, you can find my email in the chat. Reach out to me and we'll get you your prize. Thank you again. Have a wonderful weekend and we'll see you later.